Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, and I'm doing a video today on doubt. And this is a very important um, topic for this particular Aquarian age, for the cycles and seasons that we are existing in at this time. And I Googled the word doubt, and I'm going to read the definition of it, and then I'll get into more of what this video is all about. So, doubt. Doubt is a feeling of uncertainty or lack of conviction. Some doubt has been cast upon the authenticity of this account. Words that are similar to doubt: uncertainty, indecision, hesitation, hesitancy, unsureness, lack of certainty, dubiousness, suspicion, confusion, question mark, queries, questions, dubiety, incertitude, diffidence, insecurity, inhibition, unease, uneasiness, apprehension, wavering, vacillation, irresolution, lack of conviction, demurral, skepticism, distrust, mistrust, lack of trust, doubtfulness, cynicism, disbelief, incredulity, unbelief, misbelief, lack of confidence, conviction, wariness, chariness, questioning, reservations, misgivings, suspicions, qualms, leeriness. What is the opposite of doubt? Certainty, conviction, confidence, trust. Doubt is a verb. It's a feeling, to feel uncertain about. And the archaic, the older, or the oldest meaning of doubt is to fear and be afraid. To question the truth or fact of something. To disbelieve, feel uncertain. And that is the meaning of doubt, beloveds. And in this particular video, I want to get very specific on the seeding and the sowing of doubt amongst the different bodies, amongst the mental body, with your thoughts, doubts of your thoughts, amongst the emotional body, the feelings of doubts. So we have thoughts and we have feelings of doubts. Spiritual doubts. Doubt about your worthiness, the doubt of whether you're doing something right, the doubt of whether you're being approved by a higher power. Physical doubts, the conscious awareness that you're able or unable to do something, with boundaries, limitations, positive or negative thoughts, feelings around it. So I want to speak specifically on being able to focus on what is causing you doubts. And being that my foundation is spiritual, is based upon the coexistence of all the cosmologies and all the stories and all the scriptures and all the wisdom that exists as existence, seen and unseen, I am going to use the foundation of Christianity. And I want to focus on the characters of the biblical scriptures. And in the beginning, in the book of Genesis, which is not the first book of the Bible, I know, that is Job. But for the sake of our conversation and going into where we're going into with doubt, I want you to get a visual image and picture, an idea of the facts of what doubt is, how it appears, how it circulates, how it manifests itself, how it plants itself, how it grows, how it nourishes itself, how it feeds itself, and how it sustains its own survival within your being, within your existence, within your conscious awareness. Okay? Now, beloveds, we're going to start with like I said, the book of Genesis, the beginning, where we have Adam and Eve and God. Okay? First, we have Adam and God. God has given Adam everything he needs in order to overcome his fear of his own existence. Okay? Let that sink in. Adam feared his own existence. He had doubts. Now, if you use the older Jewish Talmud and the archaic scriptures, Adam was created equally with Lilith. Lilith had no doubts. Lilith was the feminine aspect of the divine. She had no doubts. She had only the acceptance of her status, of her existence. Adam and Lilith did not, how can I say, they did not mesh well because of Adam's fears. Adam wanted to be on top. Adam wanted Lilith on the bottom. Adam had these fears of who he was as a being and in his own existence. Lilith did not. Lilith had the same knowledge, the same relationship, the same conversations, the same experiences, and the same existence as Adam did. But Adam had one thing that Lilith did not. He harbored doubt. And it was that doubt that literally drove Lilith away from him. And beloveds, you can do the research and find the stories yourselves. But let's get back to Adam and Eve. Okay, Eve was created from Adam. So she contained his doubts. She was created and woven and manifested from his beliefs and his doubts, his fears, and his ideas and ideology about things. And Adam explained things to Eve. He taught Eve. He taught Eve what he knew. But he taught Eve what he knew. And within Eve, that same doubt had fertile ground. It was, doubt could be sowed and seeded there. And so this is when we get into the introduction of another character. And this character was called Snake. And the snake was by its very nature the most cunning of all creatures. And that is why this spirit entity chose the snake, for its representation, for its perspective, for its abilities, okay, for its seductive qualities, for its communication style, that hypnotic, that inner vision, that rising up within yourself to see. And so when he spoke to Eve, he struck a chord within her. He struck that gong of doubt. She listened because she recognized the questions and the energy of the questions that he was asking, and the way that he asked it brought up all those doubts, all that fear, all that uncertainty within her. And she began to question what she knew. She questioned it with doubt, not with wisdom. She questioned what she knew with uncertainty. She placed it on scales. And the uncertainty weighed more than her certainty, than what she knew. Her distrust and mistrust outweighed her trust in the truth. She gave greater value to the doubt that was sown within her. And once that doubt was sown within her, once that seed of doubt was planted in her mind, that was all she could think about. Her mind kept going to that thought, because that doubt, once planted, needed to be watered. It needed light, it needed focus, it needed attention for it to grow bigger and to expand. And so once it began to expand from her thoughts, then it got into her feelings, into her physical heart, so to speak. And from that physical heart, she began to have feelings. She began to desire certain things more. She began to crave. And it just expanded and expanded and expanded until the only thing that she could do was to satisfy that doubt that had been sown. She had to quench it. And so what did she do? Well, according to the Bible, she ate the fruit. She picked it and then she ate from it. That which she had been told not to do. That which had been explained to her. But again, who was it explained to her by? By Adam, according to the Bible. Adam was her translator. Adam was the one to teach her. But Adam could only teach her from where he was. He had his own doubts. He manifested her from his own doubts. Her existence was to be a companion to his thoughts, was to be the manifested reality and the mirror of him, of his self-understanding and knowledge and wisdom. And when Eve ate of the fruit, she had to confirm what she had done. She didn't hide it. She went to Adam and she said, eat. You didn't eat. I'm still alive. What you said wasn't true. And you need to eat too to satisfy your doubts. And then you'll know, and you'll be like God too. And God didn't know what he was talking about because we're still alive. We didn't die. I'm here. And so Adam ate. And upon eating, the knowledge of what he had done began to affect him. It began to affect his thinking. It began to affect his feelings. It began to affect his spirit. It worried him. It caused him anxiety. Because now he had done something that he was told not to do. And he understood why he wasn't supposed to do it, but he did it anyway. He gave in to the cunning of the seed that was sown, that kernel of doubt that had been planted, that was there, and that was growing in its existence and is expanding in its vastness of experience and infecting everything, seeding everything else with doubt. It replicated itself. It multiplied in the multiplicity, in the different dimensions, in the different realms of the bodies, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. And so when the creator, source, existence came into what was paradise, where he had placed Adam and Eve, he couldn't find them. They were hiding. They weren't out in the open. They were hiding. They were being cunning. They were casting doubt. by the shadow of their own fears. Their fears had become their sunshine. Okay? And God, source, existence, creator, called out to them, where are you? And finally, they emerged and they explained what they were doing. Well, we were hiding. You were hiding. Why were you hiding? Well, we were hiding because we were naked. We naked. We naked. We our bodies are we exposed. We're exposed now to the doubt of survival and if we're right or if we're wrong or if this is okay and because we didn't do this and that cunning mind now is filled with doubt and the doubt is overwhelming the wisdom. The doubt is like dandelions, in your yard. It's just got all these little seeds. And soon you got all these dandelions where you just started out with one. Now you got a yard full. You got more dandelions than you got grass. And so then they asked, God asked them, well, who told you? How you know you naked? Where did that come from? And so then they had to explain. Adam was doing the talking, and Adam said, "Well, that woman that you gave me, that Eve thing over there, I explained what she told me, but she gave me this fruit, and she, since you had made her, I figured, well, she may have had some kind of points in what she was saying, and so I ate the fruit too, and it was your fault because you gave her you gave her to me as a companion, and I listened to her because you gave her to me. So Adam had all this doubt all along. That's who Adam was. Adam was racked and filled with doubt. And so Adam's reckoning of himself brought him to the realization that he had forsaken everything that he knew. And it was from that moment paradise no longer existed, and he had to be removed from the temptation of partaking and eating from the tree of life because he had already chose the tree of knowledge of good and bad. And so with the cunning, sooner or later that mind was going to say, go eat that other fruit over there too. Even though there was an angel guarding that one. They got put out the garden now. Your conscious awareness has been infected with doubt. You are now diseased. You are at dis-ease. You are living in dis-ease. You exist as a diseased being within your mind, body, emotions, and spirit. And everything that you are now going to seed, that you are going to conceive, that you are going to give birth to, that you're going to nurture and nourish, is going to be done through the lens, through the eye, through the knowing of your doubt. And it's because of that, you're going to pass this doubt on to everything that you encounter in the world that you are now going to manifest based upon your doubt of your existence, of the essence, of the identification, of the purity, of the wisdom of your existence. Because you doubted yourself, you doubted your creator, you doubted everything. And so now you have to go. You have to be kicked out of this paradise, this conscious state of complete awareness, of holiness, of health, of purity, into the shadowlands, into the valley of death and dying because of your doubts. And beloveds, we're going to stop that there because I've given you the image and the picture that created the fertile soil for doubt to be planted in within our psyches, within our collective psyches. And beloveds, I want you to understand that once again, I want you to examine the frequency of doubt. I want you to examine the intimacy with which doubt correlates with your own knowing, with your own wisdom in existing and observing existence and interacting with existence as existence. And I want you to begin to have the ability once again to recognize doubt as a frequency, as an energy of exchange, as a currency. And I want you to see that some beings have created a life contingency based upon sowing and reaping the harvest of fear, the fruits of fear, the fruits of doubt. If someone can cause you to doubt yourself, they have invaded you. They have invaded your thoughts. If the doubts cause you to feel uncertain, they have invaded your feelings. If the doubts cause you to be so disturbed from your spiritual peace and clarity, then discord and chaos will ensue, and drama will take place in your life in order to keep that doubt strong, healthy, and alive in your life. One of the things I'm going to, my mentor, I spoke of him before. He recently had a picture, um, and I'm a very visual person, so this picture immediately caused all kind of, it asked for me to interpret it, not from how he had posted it, but from my own existence. And the picture showed Donald Trump in monk robes as a Buddha, as a statue of a Buddha, an ivory statue of the Buddha, in contemplation, in a seated position. And it caused the image, the recognition of the image, the interpretation of the image, the frequency of the image. It touched me in so many different ways. It integrated with so much of my way of observing. It touched the lens, and in touching that lens, I had to say, okay, first, what are you seeing? And in this photo, there were masks. And at first I said, these are African masks. And then as I began to look at them more, I'm like, well, no, they don't necessarily have to be African masks. They can be Viking masks or Anglo-Saxon masks. And then as I'm looking more and I'm thinking, well, this is blasphemous to compare this man as a Buddha, knowing what Buddha went through. He is the total opposite of Buddha. Buddha came from a rich family. Buddha turned his back on all of that. We know that Donald Trump did not turn his back on none of that. He embraced it. But let me stay focused on this. And so this picture, this image, began to communicate things with me. I began to have revelations around it, involving it. And it began speaking to me in many different forms of communication. I'll put it like that. First, I was taken to where Buddha had went and secluded himself, and he began fighting his own inner demons. And it was only after he realized that the demons were sowing doubts, and the doubts were landing, just like the scripture of the sower of the seeds. The seeds landed among the rocky places, those with fertile ground, and some the birds came and ate, and some, you know what I'm speaking of, beloveds. But all of this, like I said, was flowing and fluid for me. And I'm looking at all of it. And I had seen the story of Buddha on Netflix. And I'll try to find it and put the link in this sharing. And I remember Buddha came out of his battle with the demons by getting rid of his doubt of who he was and who they were, and the exchange of energies between the two. And it brought me to the stories of when Jesus was tempted. And each time this cunning, wise entity would do its best to sow doubt, to cast doubt, to cast uncertainty, to cast lies. And each time, Jesus didn't argue with this being. He didn't go into that kind of exchange where he had to defend his way of knowing, his stance. He simply said, "Get thee behind me." He simply stated the truth. The truth eliminated all doubt. And that being, that Satan, that energy, that essence, that doubt had to fade away back into the shadows from which it had come. Because the sun was focusing that light beam, that ultraviolet truth of certainty, where there was no room for doubt. And one of the times when this happened with Jesus, it came through his disciples. When he was getting ready to go through some of the worst things that a being could physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually go through. Here they come from their doubt, speaking from their doubt, not from their unconditional love, not from their wisdom, not from their support, but from their doubt. You don't really have to go through with this, and you don't have to do that, and you don't have to. Are you sure this is what you need to do? And what did Jesus say? Get thee behind me, Satan. Get thee behind me. Even though I see this being standing before me that I know intimately and that knows me intimately, and it loves me enough to hold the sacred space of doubt for me, and to try to say, here, you can fit in here. Come on in this doubt right here. Come on, I got you. And Jesus said, nah, get behind me. Get back in them shadows where you belong. I don't doubt who I am. I don't doubt my mission. I don't doubt my business. I don't doubt my spirit. I don't doubt my connection with existence. I don't doubt the connectedness of everything that must take place. I do not doubt this. So from this weakened state of not being a fasting and trying to detox and purify yourself of your doubts and your thoughts, here we come. When you're at your weakest, that's when doubts will present themselves and try to take root and try to take hold. That's when them dandelions come up in the spring, That's when the soil is most fertile for them. That's when the conditions are most ripe and ready. The winds are blowing and bees are there, and everything is perfect for those doubts to land and give and multiply, 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 multiply the doubt. And so I looked at this image of Donald Trump and his ability to be a Buddha of doubt. A Buddha of doubt. A Buddha in the lower ranges and frequencies of spiritual human nature. A catalyst that is needed in existence as existence. Existence exists. Understand the purpose of its existence because it is serving existence. No matter how nasty, no matter how loud, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how crass, no matter how vulgar, it exists to serve existence. Okay? And it is in your conscious awareness so that you can be the healing force, so that you can be your own hero, so that you can remove the doubt from your body, your physical body, from your mental, your thoughts, from your feelings, your emotions. Well, does he love me or does he not love me? Do I have a place in this world or not? Does the color of my skin make me less than? Does my sexuality make me less than? Am I a whore? Am I a slut? Am I showing too much booby for somebody or something? You become so riddled with doubt. The doubt becomes the loudest tone, intonation, force that you cannot hear and be part of the stillness because you feel like you're missing out on something because there's not all the motion, the rhythm, and the commotion and the chaos and the drama and the everything, the loudness. Doubt is an addiction. You can know something and you are so used to the anxiety, you are so addicted to the anxiety, to the hormonal cocktails of what that does to your body, of what that does to your mind, your mental, your heart, your spirit. It puts distance there. It separates, it divides. That is the whole purpose, beloveds. The more division you have, the more doubts you have, the more doubts you create. Doubt wants to multiply itself. Doubt wants to exist in your reality, as your only reality. Doubt is a narcissistic tendency. And I'm going to tell you from a place of my own growth and growing. When you are so when you think you know certain things and you stand upon those things and you stand up for those things, doubt is coming for you. It wants and needs to infect you. It needs to move you from your square. It needs to push you down. It needs to bully you. It needs to cause you dis-ease and discomfort. And once it has done that, then you are assimilated by doubt. You become doubtful. You know how the Bible called, I think it was Timothy, doubting Thomas. Yeah, doubting Thomas. I can't walk on the water. Oh, the doubts will keep you from doing what you are capable of doing. You can't do it simply because you doubt your ability to do it, which is tied to the universal laws. We have a long way to go, but we are being shown the way. Never doubt that Spirit is communicating with you through everything, every possibility, every currency, every light spectrum from the highest celestial to the darkest, lowest desires of hell. Okay? Understand the polarities. Understand the wisdom of the polarities. Understand the multidimensional gravitational pull of the realizations and the realities of who you are as Neo, as the one, to step outside of this matrix systems of programmed doubts and conditions and agents who are there to keep you in doubt, to keep you in check, to keep you in this assimilated state. So, beloveds, again, I'm going to share this picture because it won't leave me alone. And I'm going to share what I wrote about it. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but I'm going to share it. And again, beloveds, it's how we receive things. When I first saw it, like I said, immediately I wanted to judge it. Immediately I wanted to judge it. Hold on one second.
Call from Washington Expo.
Okay, beloveds. Sorry about that interruption. Talking to a friend I hadn't talked to in a while, and my soul needed that that catch up. So, excuse me if I don't jump right back into where where we stopped. But um, getting into a recap of what doubt is. And when you have doubt, you are really what's coming up is you're really abusing yourself. You're abusing your spirit, you're abusing the Holy Spirit, you're rejecting the truth. And that just had me surface that when we say the Lord's Prayer about forgiving the trespasses, forgive me my trespasses and forgive those that trespass against me. And when you look at it from that place of compassion, you realize the strength, the depth, and the harm that occurs because of doubt. And beloved, doubt, one of the synonyms for doubt was fear. That's another word for doubt is fear. And that we allow that doubt or that fear to paralyze us, or we allow it to alter our course, that our innate wisdom and our innate intuition and our instincts tell us how to be, how to exist in a certain situation. But because of doubt, we yield. We yield to that fear. And we reap what is sown from acting or pursuing or being in that state of doubt, in that state of fear. And beloveds, it's a hard thing sometimes to identify, because it becomes such a way. Doubt becomes a safe haven. Doubt becomes your shield and your sword to use. It protects you. If you have a doubt, you've learned, well, trust that doubt. Trust it. Trust the doubt over your natural instincts. Better to be safe than sorry. Doubt is a cage, and it will keep you, it will hold you hostage if you allow it to. And it can only do that with your agreement. Because once you know of yourself as existence on a spiritual plane, from a place of authority, from a place of self-recognition and self-acceptance and compassion and unconditional love, doubt no longer is able to move you from your stance. It's no longer able to bulldoze you or push you over or bullshit you or to keep you in that sucker mode. You know, we were speaking of Donald Trump earlier from that image. And Donald Trump and the men like him and women like him, those from that ilk, one of their mottos is there's a sucker born every minute. What does that mean? It means clearly that if they can sell you doubt, you will buy anything. You will spend anything. You will take anything. You'll be able to, you're open to receiving anything. Anything that comes from that doubt. Because you no longer have the assurance to rely upon your own wisdom, your own innate sense, your own incarnated spirit. You silence that and turn up the volume to what's speaking the loudest, the noisiest, and what most people are following, the latest trend. And I look at QAnon from that standpoint. And I look at a lot of the trends and music and different whims and desires that come from those who are rooted in doubt. They have a certain radiance, shadowed radiance. They have a certain shiny, shiny, fool's gold quality. They have a car salesman type of rush, rush, rush. You know, buy this, buy this. They're total salesmen. And everything is about keeping up with the Joneses and comparison and contrasts. The polarity of you don't want this, you want that. And in order to have that, you've got to do this, or you've got to buy this, or you've got to be this. Even if you don't think that's you, you have to represent this in order to have that. And, beloved, once again, that comes down to your own conscious self-awareness of who you are, of what your spiritual heart needs, what it holds sacred space for. Or are you giving more attention, hierarchy, permission, allowance to your physical heart that has all these conditions, that has all these limitations, that is full of doubt, is the most fertile ground for doubt there is in the world. You know, where people can tell you, oh, you're fat, oh, you're black, or you're a woman, you'll never be this, or you'll never be that. So they keep sowing this doubt. You're uneducated. I don't understand what you're saying. Your words all go, whoa. Really? Doubts will eat you alive. They will bury you. They will hold you. They will shackle you. The only thing that keeps you from being truly free and being totally aware of your freedom is your doubts. Go back to that story of Adam and Eve in Genesis. trap was the doubt. The trap expanded because the doubt was able to take hold. And the doubt became more clear than the truth. The doubt became more tangible than the truth. The doubt became more familiar. You become more intimate with the doubt than you do with the truth. And sometimes we become addicted to that feeling of being in doubt, that unease, because it's familiar. And as long as that's there, we would rather feed and nurture, be nurtured by it than by the truth. Because the truth is going to require you to be fully present and to be consciously aware of what you observe, and to be connected to your I am presence. And if you have not integrated or begun integrating with your I am presence, I am that, then this world is going to manipulate you, and it's going to try to sell you everything that you can become, because you don't know that I am that. I am existence. It's going to make you feel other. It's going to make you feel that you need to be, that you are either higher or lower, that you are arrogant, or that you have low self-esteem. That you think you're too good for, or you think you're not good enough for. That is the home base for doubt. Doubt requires self-reckoning. Doubt requires one to really examine themselves and examine all the things that they've been told, all the things that they have believed with certainty as truth. As their leader, do you allow your doubts to lead you? Do you follow your doubts, or do you follow the truth? I listened to, like I said, the stories that are floating from this whole QAnon thing. And before that, there's always been something. There's always been something to feed doubt, to feed the need to be right or wrong. Doubt is the polarity of unconditional love. It's the polar opposite extreme. And we have embraced doubt. We have embraced the way of doubt as a way to move forward, as a way to recognize and honor leadership. We doubt politicians, but we put them in leadership roles. We donate money to them. We follow their rules and their laws. But yet we doubt their ability to lead. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? If I doubt you, there's no way I can become intimate with you because I'm not going to trust you. I'm not going to be able to relax, be able to be free with you. I'm always going to be on guard because I'm uncertain of your ability to express unconditional love, to recognize unconditional love. We have to look at the world and we have to realize the micro and the macrocosm that supports and integrates and that holds the sacred space of trust, intimate trust. There is a dependence, there is an interdependence. Human beings are dependent upon the trees for oxygen. Human beings are dependent upon enough wealth in order to survive, pay their bills, and feed their families. And so in this process, doubt causes us to do what? Doubt of our being able to sustain ourselves causes us to chop down all the trees, to deforest the rainforest, to pollute the air that we breathe, to pollute the water that we breathe, that we drink, also that we can sustain ourselves financially, or big corporations can sustain themselves. And those that are on the grassroots levels, the indigenous ones, those who are working with the earth instead of against the earth, they are seen, they're doubted, whereas trust is afforded to the bigger companies. Same reason why 70-something million support Donald Trump. Same reason why you have members of Congress, members of the United States of America still supporting and feeling that Donald Trump is the president, or that he should not have lost the election, or that recounting these ballots is going to change something. As long as you keep that doubt there, and those who are comfortable, more comfortable with doubt than they are with assurance, than they are with the truth, they're going to fight to keep their doubt alive, to keep their doubts safe and happy and healthy, because that's all they know. And if you take it from them, if you take their doubt away from them, What do they have? Who are they? Who do they have to be? If you take away the systematic, traditional guidelines of the colonizers for civilization, what do you have left? What grows from that space? Who is fed by it? Who is housed by that awareness? There are some people that they are not happy unless they are casting doubt or they are sowing doubt in others. The catfishing, the pranks, these are frequencies that come from self-doubt and self-loathing. They spring from a well of fear that has been forged or forced upon certain individuals. Narcissistic beings exist in their own minds to remove their own doubts and fears about their own identities. And the only way that they can do that is through the reflections of others. And that reflection often has to do with the mirroring of behaviors that cause them to experience doubt for the first time in their lives. And like I said, for some, it is an addiction. It is an addiction. It is a habit. It is a hormonal release. It is a low state of existing. But it is one, like I said, that began in the earliest of stories with Adam and Eve. In every cosmology, in every creation story, you will find doubt creeping up as the adversary. Doubt is the adversary, is the polarity of wisdom. Wisdom knows. Wisdom does not think. Wisdom does not guess or question. Wisdom knows. Doubt is unsure. Doubt questions. Doubt is uncertain. If we want to progress as a species, we have to establish ourselves more in wisdom and less in doubts, conspiracy theories, lies, falsehoods, half-truths. We have to consciously choose wisdom, the wisdom of our nature as existence, of what we incarnated with, there was no doubt. There is no doubt. When you ground and you center and you focus on that, rather than the thoughts of the mind, the desires of the physical heart, the feelings generated that want to respond and react to being triggered. What's being triggered? Is it your wisdom or is it your doubts? Your doubts being your fears and uncertainty of who you are as a being. We have a ways to go, beloveds, but I feel that with each day, especially in 2021, there's a nuance. There's I've never been here. There's a unlimitedness. There's a boundarylessness in the wisdom of existing with the identity of ourselves as spirit. We're looking more into our different bodies. We're looking more and paying more attention to our physical bodies, our mental bodies, the mental health. The mental health is the thinking and our thoughts. The emotional health, the feelings based upon the beliefs and the knowing. Are your feelings based upon the truth? Or are your feelings based upon opinions or thoughts or doubts or fact? Do you have the wisdom to discern between the two? Our spiritual body is the highest source of our incarnated existence. Some people say that's the higher voice or the higher soul or the higher self or something of that nature, that it's higher. Do you doubt your ability to rise, to ascend into that hierarchy of spirit? Are you so chained to that root physical body that you're trapped there, that you're more comfortable there, that is the existence that you prefer because it gives you pleasure, because it's easiest, because it is most familiar, because you're afraid to go higher. You're afraid to leave that state and to focus on your spiritual intellect, your spiritual maturity, your spiritual heart and feelings. That is all inclusive, and that is integrated into the collective of all of the universe, of the cosmos. Is that too big for you? Do you need to keep everything tiny in a box because you doubt what would happen if you took those walls away, if you took those walls down? This is where many of us are. And we're right where we need to be in this grand scheme of things. I find myself expanding my own wisdom based upon ridding myself, divesting myself, diverting myself away from the distractions that come from doubting, from the uncertainty of doubting, from the anxiety and the worry of doubting, simply because it is a fallback. It has been sown, it has been seeded. But it is also something that I know that I can rise above. I can rise above my doubts. I can rise above my fears. I can challenge my uncertainty with truth, with wisdom, and with unconditional love. And that, for me, is happening at a much rapider pace lately. And I'm looking into different things, and I'm looking at myself in different ways, and I realize where I've come from as far as the evolution of my own integration of bodies, thoughts, feelings, spirit. An integration has to take place. You cannot just be one without the other. All three are what makes a braid. They have to be woven together. They are woven together. And we have to be aware of the weaving. And we have to be aware that each strand or each rope or each length or each cord, what it represents. And that there must be a harmony and a pattern and a rhythm established in order to form the integrity of the new genetic markers and links, codes, cords, communications. And this is what is going to help us rise above the fear of Adam, the so-called curse of Adam and Eve, that doubt, that unsureness, that disassociation from spirit. That's going to do it, beloveds. There's a lot here, and unpack it the way you need to. I felt the need to share, and again, follow me on Facebook. There is always much more there. I am working on a website. I have a resistance there that I am working on. I have a doubt and a fear that I'm working through when it comes to creating this website and creating a not creating, but expanding um, I would say my own spiritual kingdom into existence. And that is truly what I'm doing. And it has been a pleasure to observe the growth, the movement, the fluidity that now exists from where it once was. Um, there's been a lot of pain, emotional, physical, spiritual, generational, even. Um, but you have to feel it to heal it, beloveds. That is what Spirit has always given me. You've got to feel it. You've got to be aware of it. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in order to heal it fully, not just the surface, but the deepness at the root of it, even. Just like those dandelions. You can mow them all day long, but you're not doing anything to the root. And they're going to shoot up every year. And they're going to spread more seeds. And they're going to keep multiplying until you find an organic way that you're no longer polluting the ground from which they grow, the soil, and you're allowing for the medicine to just do what it needs to do. Because dandelions are an old medicine. They bring an archaic medicine to them, medicine energy, healing with them. I just learned recently that it was not always, um, did not originate here in America, North America. It actually was, the dandelion was brought from Europe to the United States. So there is wisdom within that as well. There are many mystical metaphors and signs and symbols within that symbiology, within the wisdom of the dandelion, of it being transported, of it being transmuted, of it being rooted and unrooted. The different polarities. Some see it as a weed, some see it as medicine. The different colors, the white and the yellow, the individual seeds, and then the full yellow blossom. I can remember as a child the many songs that would come from going around picking them and plucking the head off of them and making garlands and bracelets and everything, rings from them. And the mothers making tea or greens to eat from them. There's so much that we have become blind and deaf to. That speaks to us still. If we are still enough to listen to them. If we get rid of the fear of listening, of hearing, of being present, of not judging, but taking the time to listen beyond our own doubts. Did they say that? Did they mean this? What does that mean? What are they implying? Sometimes instead of listening in that manner, listen just to hear. Listen just to be present, to bear witness. Sometimes not even to understand, but just to hear, just to know. Namaste, beloveds. Thank you so much. Um, this is Valerie Ames, aka Mother with Wisdom. Thank you for joining me. I hope this helps you. I hope you receive from it and that you grow from it and that you divest yourself from your own doubts and that you're able to help others, because this is the reason for these videos. It is for the collective. It's not just for the self, it is also for the collective. And it is what it is. So, again, namaste and thank you.